Pattern recognition is the 9th edition of the Young Artist of the Year Award for young Palestinian artists up to the age of 30. Its theme return is quite loaded within a Palestinian context, so we're looking at artists who could also reformulate that theme in an innovative way, either by the ways they use their medium or materials, or how they approach the narrative.
My work is called Nemosine, and it's a video piece. It's about 13 minutes. And in the piece we see there's 14 family members. It's from my mother's family, narrating their own version of the same story. It's a story related to my grandfather, to a scar that he had on his forehead.
أبو داود بده خالته تطلع من البلد، طلع مع خالته على لبنان انهزموا، وهن ماشيين على لبنان بالطريق، شافن الجيش، قوس عليهن، اجى تصاوب ابو داود من هون على صباحه،
وتمت اصابته في الرصاصه، يعني شطف شطفته بصباحه، وهي علامه يعني لا تنسى.
الهواي او رصاصه كان ماكلها بشي محل هون بصباحه. هي رصاصه طايشه، بعرفش ممكن شطفته شطف لحياه ابوي.
حط ايده على راسه، اللي هي كان رصاصه شاط في صباحه، شطف هون بصباحه.
الهواية كانت بجبينه. أنا متذكرة كيف كان يحكي، ولما يحكي عن الموضوع كيف كان هيك يعمل بإيده على جبينه.
My grandmother, my mother is in it, and my aunts and uncles, almost all of them. It's quite a large family, my mother's family, so there are 13 family members. The glass of water that's always on the floor, it comes in relation also with the title of the work, Nemosine, which is the name of the Titan goddess of memory, the Greek goddess of memory, and the personification of the words and language. And then the glass of water comes sort of subtly hinting on the river of Lethis, which is the river of forgetfulness. Also, the video is accompanied with 3 embroidered works on paper, which sort of came after I finished working on the video. So these subtle images, one of the images I'll speak about is a chicken, a dead chicken, that my grandmother shares in her story, which was, she says that when my grandfather was walking back from Lebanon, he was trying to go back to the village, and then there was Israeli soldiers shooting towards his direction. And then he came across a woman and her children and I think 3 chickens, something like this, on a donkey. And they were all shot in front of him.
لقى قدامه مرة وولادها ومنهزمين، قام الجيش قوس عليهن، تصوبت المرة، ماتت هي وولادها، كانت حاملة دجاجاتها وولادها على الحمار، تصاوبوا، ضل هو يركض، قطعوا التلة هاي، عود نزل عوادي، ساعتها بطل يبين على العسكر، على الجيش، بطل يشوفوا يقوسوا عليه.
The theme of pattern recognition, I feel my work responds to that, Nemosine responds to that, in terms of thinking of history, repetition and gaps in history, and the relationship between myth-making and history, and our own personal memory and collective memory, and how that's preserved and commemorated.
So the overall curatorial premise of pattern recognition is actually an invitation to artists to work on the themes of repetition, pattern, rhythm, and have that as a critical strategy to rethink issues of geography, memory, time, authenticity.
The theme of the work was the return. I took a ready-made photo that captured my attention, and I started working with that image. I started going back to the same spot and filming the same thing. It was like a billboard that has an image of the Sea of Gaza. I went to a place called the Tantura Beach. I took footage of the sea and I overlaid it on the billboard. So I tried to connect the detached geographies, and also I picked a specific place, which is a bus station, because you go there and wait for the bus, and people wait nothing happens there. And one of the things that were interesting for me and important is to highlight the issue of waiting. I wanted people to get bored even while watching this video, okay, nothing is happening, nothing is going on, till the moment that the sea starts to work in the background, to see the image of the sea moving. People mainly ignored that I was filming there, and the only one that you can see also through the video that reacted to me and to what I'm doing was the little kid that was looking directly at me and then looking at the billboard, trying to figure out what's going on. Also involving the tourists, because they can come to Palestine and they can go any place they want there, while we Palestinians have difficulties to roam around our own land. So this also was one of the ideas that I was hoping to convey in the video.
I think the works here, though they have a political meaning, they're also quite poetic. So with art, the most important thing is always that it speaks to people. And I think it's also important that people come away with the idea that the Palestinian context is a complex one, and there's not only one interpretation either to the work or to what Palestine is or could be or was. So in the back of the exhibition, there's a project by Majd Masri called Haphazard Synchronizations. And what she did in her project is look at a very iconic photograph of the 1970s of a female fedai, a freedom fighter, taken in a Palestinian refugee camp in Lebanon. And she's wearing a military fatigues, she has a Kalashnikov, and she has a jasmine flower between the lips. So it's a very well-known photo, actually. And what Majd did is take that photo and then take us to this journey of art history in Palestine. So there is a painting of a Virgin Mary type of figure in the Greek icon Orthodox style, but this is again the same woman. And similarly, she takes us through Naji al-Ali, a cartoonist, very well-known Palestinian cartoonist who was assassinated in 1987 in London, but she also shows us that same picture of that woman in his style. So Marsalam's project is an embroidery project and a video project, where in the video you see her together with her mother crocheting patches that then go into a quilt. And the whole project is a comment on how she, as a Palestinian, and her family have been dispossessed twice. Once during the Nakba in 1948, when her family fled to Syria, and then again now during the Syrian civil war, she has fled with her family to Algeria. You see a certain scene wherein Somar is lying under the quilt and it's being unraveled, so she's becoming exposed. So that's very much an indication on how fragile comfort and shelters and covers actually are. Nur Abed's project, I guess, is the most speculative of the projects we're showing this exhibition. It's a sci-fi work that addresses a UFO that was allegedly sighted over the village of Bir Navala in 2015. And she's trying to piece together what might or might not have happened. So it's really a take on fact and fiction and how narrative is constructed and how truth is constructed or either fabricated or fiction is constructed. Within the context of Palestine, it's really interesting because many Palestinians, of course, live within this gray zone of fact and fiction and what is real and what is not real, and are they actually really living in a proper state or nation, or are they not?
The artist as a historian and also the individuals that are within the film, that we kind of take the role of a historian in this way. So the relationship between history and memory, and trying to keep that also as broad as possible. I mean, even though it's actually the starting point is an event that happened in 1948, in the Nakba, when the Israelis occupied Palestine, and a lot of Palestinians, including my grandfather, were kicked out, but many thankfully managed to return. So yeah, and I would hope if this story can also speak about other histories as well. It's not only Palestine, you know, it's shared histories in the end.
I think people are not familiar about the complexity of the Palestinian identities, the Palestinians that live under the Israeli authority or whatever, have different reality from Palestinians that live in the West Bank, and we share the same history and the same tragedy and the same background. Today we have different realities.
I think it's very important to show Palestinian work, especially since 2017 marks the centenary of the Balfour Declaration, and also 50 years since 1967. So really very important political dates. And I guess in times of disquiet that we are living very clearly now, it is important to show different voices from the elsewhere, because our world somehow is becoming smaller, so it's becoming more urgent to show these works here.